I don't know what happened or what time, but I had to switch. She just felt it's so comfortable. It's so comfortable for her to say, and then we were later on.
Hello, welcome to another bad date story time. I have so many of these. So today we're gonna talk about how this girl puked in my brand new car that I had literally just bought. My first car ever in my entire life that I got with no cosigner at like 22. Was I 22? That was my brand new car. That was my baby until I crashed it like 4 times in a row. But that was still my baby, and it's still my baby today, and I had had it for 1 month and she puked in my door. So let's go to the beginning, get into the story. I met this girl on Tinder. She was really nice, she was really sweet. We went on a great date. I had a lovely, lovely time with her. Honestly, the date went better than I expected. She was very sweet, she was nice, she was dressed very well, she was smart. I had a great time. And so on our date, she invited me to go back to her place to play darts or something with her friends. And I was like, sure, why not? So I go to her house, playing games with her friends, having a good time, We make out a little bit. And then she's like, do you want to spend the night? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go home. And she's like, okay. So I go home, and the next day she texts me to be like, hey, I had a great time. I really liked meeting you. And then she was like, but next time I'd like to be a little more hands-on. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And she was like, well, next time I'm trying to fuck. And I was like, well, that's not really what I'm trying to do with you. And she was like, why are you on Tinder then? And I was like, just because I'm on Tinder doesn't mean I want to hook up with you automatically. Like, I know it has that reputation and that stereotype, but you can't on it. Like, I just couldn't believe you actually expected that I only wanted to hook up with you just because we met on Tinder and you had no conversation with me about it and you made that assumption. But whatever, I got offended, and she honestly didn't even want to talk to me if I wasn't gonna have sex with her, and I got offended by that, so we stopped talking. 3 months later, in a moment of weakness, I literally texted her and was like, do you still want to fuck? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, what are you doing tonight? And she was like, christening my new apartment with you. And I was like, oh. And so, you know, I go over. We do the do. It's a nice time. And so after that, we start doing it regularly. And it was very nice. She's very talented. So at this point, we're just, you know, doing it a lot for a couple weeks. But then at a certain point, we kind of stopped having so much sex. And we started to just talk more. We started to actually go on dates. We started to just hang out. And we started to actually date each other, and like actually we're getting to know each other, and we started to really like each other, and it was fun. So everything's going great. I'm really considering, like, I might marry this one, you know, I just might. So things are going well, and then there was one incident. So I'm getting off of work because I was working at a restaurant at the time, so I got off late. And so I got off work, and she was like, hey, my friends are downtown, please come meet us. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm down. So, oh, and then before I came down, I asked her, I was like, are you drunk? Have you been drinking? Because I don't want to hang out with you if you're drunk. If you're up, I don't want to be around you. And she was like, I haven't been drinking, I haven't had 1 drink. And she was like, Jake, I actually had 1 drink, but like, I'm not drunk, I promise, I'm not drunk, I'm not drinking. Promised me that she was not drunk. And I got down to that bar, and she was trashed the up, like just trashed out of her mind. And I was like, you lied to me, you are super drunk. And she's like, no, I'm not, can't even talk right. And I was like, okay. So I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna try to have a good time. Her friends were nice, whatever. And we're walking along to another bar, and she trips and face first into the cement sidewalk, busts her nose. And she's bleeding like crazy bleeding, and I'm just like, ah! Really glad I wasn't there by myself. Her friends were there. Like, her friends like got her up and put her on a little bench. I went to a food truck to get some water and napkins and brought them back to her, and we were all just like blotting her nose with the paper towels, and I like was rinsing off some of the blood with the water and also making her drink the water. Like, one of her friends is like, we gotta take her to Julie's house because Julie is a nurse. And I was like, okay. So her and her 5 friends all get into my little hatchback, and she's bleeding all over my passenger seat. I'm also sitting there like, please don't get blood in my brand new car that I just bought last month. So I take them to Julie's house, pack all these drunk people in my car, take them to Julie's house, and we get there, and Julie is also, her name is not Julie. Julie is not her real name. I'm just using it as a fake name. So we get to Julie's house, and Julie's literally having sex with her girlfriend in her room, and we barge in because someone happens to have a key to Julie's place. We barge in, interrupt them. She gets pissed off and is like, give us 10 minutes, F you guys. So we're just like hanging out, waiting around. And then the girl that I'm dating, we'll call her G. The girl I'm dating, we'll call her G. And she realizes also that she has lost her keys at some point. And she starts having a meltdown. Like, I lost my keys. Where are my keys? I know one of you guys has my keys. Like, so I'm just like, ah. Cause I was like, if you can't find your keys, you have to come spend you're gonna come spend the night at my place. If you can't find your keys to get into your place, guess where you're gonna end up? With me. And at this point, I really was not trying to have her spend the night because I was agitated that she lied to me about being drunk. Hi, cat. Hi, kitty. Are you interrupting my video? Okay, she's just gonna sit there. Anyways, Julie eventually gets dressed and looks at G's nose, and she's like, okay, the nose isn't broken. And I was like, phew, okay, her nose isn't broken. She's fine. She's just bleeding. And so then they're like, okay, well now we gotta find G's keys. And then one of her friends literally is like, I know where the keys are. Like telepathically in some weird way. And she literally goes to the corner of Julie's house. There's like a random cowboy boot in the corner of the living room. And she goes over to the cowboy boot, puts her hand in it, and pulls out G's keys. And I was sitting there like, I don't know what y'all got going on over here. Like, I don't know. So anyways, next I proceed to be like, okay, well, how's everyone getting home? And they're like, can you give us a ride home? And I was like, fine. Whew. So I give all of her friends a ride home, and then I have to take G home. And as we finally get to her place, she opens my car door and then proceeds to puke all over the inside of my car door as I'm dropping her off. And I'm like, I can't leave her like this. She's got a busted nose and she's throwing up and she can barely walk. So, so I literally, and now that she's puked all over my car, I literally have to carry her into her apartment because she can barely stand up, and I'm carrying her, helping her walk, like struggling because she was much larger than I am, and I literally just had to help her the best I could. Carry her up a flight of stairs. It was a mess. So, but I also felt like I couldn't leave her alone. So I spent the night, and so I just gave her a bunch of water bottles and made sure she drank some of them, and I went to bed. And then I like woke up in the middle of the night because I felt something wet, and I was like, oh, you spilled one of your water bottles everywhere. And then I woke up and I realized that it was not water bottles. She had peed the entire bed while I was in it. And I was like, I slept in your pee all night. Thanks. And so she woke up finally, and I was like, you peed the bed. And she was like, oh yeah, I do that when I'm drunk. I always do it. And I was like, you could have told me that before I got in the bed with you. Thanks. So after this incident, I'm pretty much over her at this point. I spent the night with her to make sure she was okay, but at this point I was like, I'm done with you. I don't want to keep dating. she also revealed to me that she was engaged the year prior. And when we had our first date, the house that she was in that I went over to was actually the house she had with her ex, and the new apartment that we christened was finally when she moved out of that place, because they broke off their engagement because her ex-fiance had cheated on her with her ex-girlfriend. So she just gotten cheated on, had a broken engagement, so I was trying to be understanding why sometimes she might go overboard with the alcohol, because I'm Mrs. Compromise. Mrs. Give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Miss Overlook everyone's major flaws. So that's what I do. So I was like, you know, she's got some alcoholism because she broke off an engagement, and you know, a couple of weeks go by and she calls me and she's like, hey, I know we haven't been talking lately, but like I really need someone to talk to right now. Can you like please be here for me? I was like, sure, but I was like, are you drunk? Are you drunk? I'm asking you for real. And she was like, I promise I'm not drunk. I promise I have not drunk at all. So I was like, okay, I'll come be there for you. And so I get to her place and there's a party happening. She literally has 6 friends over. There's empty wine bottles everywhere and she's drunk. So I get there and I like cuss her out basically. I was like, you're drunk. Like, you lied to me. You don't need me to be here for you. You just only want to talk to me when you're up. And it's like horrible. Like, you don't actually like me. You just get lonely when you're drunk. And you're honestly, I think you have a problem. And I just like cussed her out and was like, don't ever call me again. You're a liar and you're possibly an alcoholic. And I just can't be involved with someone who is not going to take responsibility for their actions and who keeps lying to me. And I cussed her out and then I left and then I never spoke to her again. Yeah, good times, good times. Anyways, that was another edition of Bad Date Story Times, and also Chanel compromises too much. Well, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that, and there will be more to come because I have so many of these. Okay, bye guys.